What's going on, friends? Sam Prentice back once again. I'm in Shenzhen in China at Snapmaker's headquarters. They were huge around 2019 with their 3-in-1 machines, combining CNC machining, 3D printing and laser engraving. Then we had the IDEX printer that's called the J1. But then the 3D printing world exploded with Bambu Lab's CoreXY printers and multicolor printers. Well, things at Snapmaker, they went a little quiet for a while. And so we fast forward to now, and Snapmaker are back, big time. They've just successfully launched the biggest 3D printing Kickstarter of all of time. And it's on that Kickstarter that Snapmaker managed to raise more than $20 million, fully funding the Kickstarter and selling 20,000 units. I'm here to find out what's changed and how a company that I thought was faded managed to make one of the biggest comebacks in 3D printing history. Let's get straight on into this one.
You are watching a master at work.
Okay, I'm here with Cynthia.
Hello,
from
everyone.
Snapmaker, head of global sales. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Once again, congratulations on this amazing Kickstarter campaign.
Thank you.
What's the response been like from the community and inside of your world, Snapmaker?
So the community, I think it says a big success for us to launch the campaign, and then people now are seeing more reviews from the beta testers, the test pilots, and now the first users gonna receive their package this week in Germany. So I think there's a huge excitement together from the community. So yeah, we are really happy to share the excitement from the community and then to feel the people that you experience the tool changer. Yeah, in this year together.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, you touched on it a moment ago about what's the response been like at this show. And most people here that I've interacted with are talking about Snapmaker.
Yes.
And the U1.
Yes.
So what's your feelings? What people have been saying to you at the show here?
Okay, so it's like a tricky question that I ask people. I say, have you bought U1 or you are going to buy? Yeah, so it seems that most of people come here is that they are already a backer. So we have more than 20,000 units sold during Kickstarter during 45 days.
Yep.
So some of them already bought U1. Are looking forward to receive their U1 soon. So this
they're desperate to see it. They're desperate to see it in action right now.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's really good that I told them. So some people, if they say this and then they cannot get stock, but you can just happen to see it next week.
Yeah.
So that's the first group of people. They're really excited to see it the first time live, offline. I mean, yeah. And the second group is that they know the U1. And then excited to see such a great, affordable tool changer on the market, even without a Kickstarter price. The current price is still very good, very affordable, and then very competitive.
Even this morning, there was a guy over here saying to me, "Yeah, I really wish I'd backed it earlier.
Yeah.
And, they could have been getting it this week. So you missed out.
Yeah.
But again, you can still pick it up. It is still at a very good price.
Yes.
And again, congratulations.
Thank you
on
very
such a
much.
successful
Thank you very
campaign.
much. Yes.
Wave goodbye to the camera.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Whether you're a hobbyist, a student, or a pro engineer, PCBWay.com has you covered. From simple 2-layer boards to complex multi-layer designs, they offer high-quality PCBs with fast turnaround and competitive pricing. Plus, their assembly service and 3D printing options make them the one-stop shop for makers, so visit PCBWay.com and turn your ideas into reality. Thank you once again to PCBWay for sponsoring this channel. Friends, we're now in Germany. About 4,000 miles from China.
That's right.
Brian again, how are you doing, sir?
Really good to see you.
Good
really
to see you. Now, I'm excited, and I can see that you're excited.
Really excited
Obviously,
here.
massive success here in Germany. The U1 is now shipping.
Yep.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about how this video has been formed, because obviously I was in Shenzhen, China. There were some things that were going on out there. We filmed a bunch of stuff. We went on Facebook. I asked some questions to people that were there. But when we actually saw it in the raw form, we both felt that it didn't quite fit what we wanted to deliver inside of the video. So the questions were pretty easy. Questions that people were asking, people were talking about tariffs, which doesn't seem to have really caused much of an issue so far.
Not so far.
Not a lot of hot air. But again, it is a concern. People have pledged their money out to Kickstarter. So people do obviously want to feel that they are being looked after. But now, certainly as of this week, I've started seeing people saying, I've just got an email. Things are starting to be delivered.
Oh, yeah.
Things are going out. And really, I think part of the video that I was filming was basically just kind of reassure people that things were happening. I've seen the factory. I can see that you're scaling. What else would you say is kind of an important factor inside of that metric? Obviously, you're doing what you said. We've done a successful Kickstarter. I say we, I mean you, of course. You've done a successful Kickstarter campaign. As again, Snapmaker has had this meteoric rise from the ashes, and I really feel that says a lot about the company. And I guess, in some respects there are some concerns because obviously you want to maintain momentum, you want to make sure that you're delivering everything to the clients, and then obviously they're looking strategically at what Snapmaker does next, because this is kind of like the rebirth, and now we're going into the second album.
That's right.
So how do you feel things are going right now? I know you're consumed with obviously delivering on the Kickstarter, but you've got to be looking to the future. I mean, coming to an event like this, we're seeing tool changes, we're seeing nozzle swappers, we're seeing a lot of kind of innovation that is either kind of old new tech that's going to be delivered for the very first time, or we're seeing things like the rack system, which again is new inside of our own ecosystem. What do you kind of feel that the process is going to be for Snapmaker moving forward? Is it still going to be a tool changer kind of system? Because I think that's probably one of the better systems out there.
Yeah, I think right now, as I've said before, like our key focus is on getting this one right. I think what we've built is the machine for the everyman. So that means, as you said, already I've seen people in Asia, in Korea, Vietnam, Hong Kong, they've got their machines. Europe is getting delivered this week, really exciting. So a bunch of people here at the show came on Tuesday, went home on Wednesday and opened the box. Really exciting. And Americans are just getting their emails and their tracking numbers and everything rolling right now. Very excited with that.
I mean, a lot of times people are concerned about the risk around Kickstarter.
Sure.
And of course, we touched on that in our original questions was, why Kickstarter?
Sure.
And what was the answer to that?
Yeah, the quick answer is, well, it works. It's a really good launch platform. It's a really great launch platform. You get a ton of people excited about a product that they really want to see. You get a certain number of guarantees from the Kickstarter Corporation. And importantly, Kickstarter is, it's not a charity, right? So they take their 5%. And they offer a lot of really great ways to connect early backers, people who are excited about technology with cool new technology, right? So it's just a really great launch platform, and we found that it was the right way to go. And importantly, we know how Kickstarter works. Our products that have been a big success have come out on Kickstarter. This is our third one, third time's a charm, and some of our other products that did okay, we launched ourselves. So really, the key here, both with Kickstarter and what we've done with the U1, I think, is focus on your core competency. And for us, that means hardware, and that means launching on Kickstarter.
This is kind of like the questions we were asking back out in China, of course.
Yeah, sure.
It's kind of funny. The wording is exactly what we were talking about. But of course, it's gauging the audience as well. I mean, you couldn't have known, you were going to do that kind of volume straight off.
No, absolutely not.
Then you've got a second wave now, and you're going to have people that are going to be holding back to see, well, actually, is it as good as the reviewers have been saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, a lot of it's about testing the market. And one of the key things you said back in the other interview that we filmed previously was about ownership. That you didn't want to give stuff away to a third party that would ultimately have more control.
Yeah, that's a really big thing. When you bring something into production, you need to find investors and backers and things like that, no matter how you do it. Crowdfunding is a way that you maintain control, that it's just between you and the users, and that you don't have some third-party investment firm or whatever telling you how to run your operation. Exactly. So this gives us a ton of power. And I will let you in on a little secret. If you go to the market and you say, I've got this prototype, look at it, invest in my company, they're going to ask for a lot of conditions. If you go, hey, I've sold 20,000 of these and you want the same investment money, they'll just give it to you.
That's the key difference. But, there's a lot of criticism online about Kickstarter. And let's be fair, Snapmaker, up until that point, you were hanging on by a string there. It wasn't... Again, you really had the Artisan, which again was a good seller.
Great machine.
But it's a big machine, heavy, real heavy. And, that was kind of it. And reinventing yourselves here, I think, has just been so impressive. And more so than it. You've got envy from other people here that I've spoken to. I won't mention any names, but you've got some, big admirers of what you've been able to accomplish with this. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very
Is
much.
there anything else you think that the audience needs to know inside of the questions that we spoke about, or any new information?
Yeah. Very soon we're coming out with the hardened steel nozzles at 0.4. We've got more nozzle size, 0.2, 0.6, 0.8, rolling out really soon. that top cover, it's coming. And if you're asking me, why is it taking so long to build a top cover? It's plastic and a couple of HEPA filters, right? Well, the answer is it doesn't take rocket scientists to build a top cover like that, but all of our rocket scientists are currently busy expanding the production lines and making sure that everything is getting off the line really, really well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I think that's the most important thing to know, is that we're really focusing in this one. That if you see our marketing right now, you will see that it is kind of family oriented. You'll see a lot of toys and stuff. And that's on purpose, because our previous machines, like you mentioned, Artisan, J1, these were more prosumer devices before the whole market shifted in 2022 to be more accessible. So what we see is a chance to bring ourselves from the high-tech, super hobbyist people, and we still love those guys and we will support you, but make it more accessible. So that's why the U1 starts with these great, exposed PLA holders. It starts with all the basic stuff that lets you plug and play. I'm actually not very technically competent myself, so I'd like to say it's an endorsement that I know how to use the machine really well. But that means that in 6 months, when we have all these accessories coming out, when we announce new accessories, we've got all kinds of upgrades and software updates to get the more hardcore stuff ready, it means those PLA, TPU, PETG, the basic stuff is really dialed in. And I know if you're out there and you're going to pro nylon, you're going to be making your own profile anyway.
Absolutely.
We'll get to you,
Yeah.
and we will help you, but just take a little time, because we're focused on making a machine for the everyman at a price point and at a capability point that's good for everyone, we think.
One of the big things I think we spoke about before was, how Snapmaker have kind of worked backwards from the hardware to key deliverables inside of that user experience.
Absolutely.
I think you've nailed it. And I think, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are talking about it here with other vendors, and they're like, yeah, Snapmaker, man. Like, what's that all about? The biggest 3D printing Kickstarter of all time. And I've got to congratulate you on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Obviously, you will be looking at the comments, and if there are any questions and key questions that you want answering, then obviously leave them down below. What's happened here at Snapmaker over the last year almost feels unreal. A company that many assumed had slipped into the background has just pulled off one of the biggest comebacks this industry has ever seen. And the U1 is only the beginning. Because as we move into 2026, Snapmaker isn't just back, they're one to watch. A modular tool changer at this level, at a surprisingly decent price, has put them back into the conversation. Rumours of a bigger, more powerful evolution of the U1 is on the horizon. Something that could really push them even further into the ring with some big names. And with more than $20 million in a fresh kickstarting fund, well, they finally have the fuel to make that jump. And for the first time in years, Snapmaker is rising, floating upwards alongside Bambu Lab, Prusa and Creality, the brands that really set the pace in 3D printing. But here's the reality. This industry moves fast, shockingly fast, and while Snapmaker's return has been incredible, every major brand is now watching their next move very closely. So if the U1 is chapter 1 of the comeback story, well, then 2026 is shaping up to be the year where Snapmaker either cement themselves amongst the elite or trigger a whole new wave of competition across the entire maker community. Either way, for creators, makers and engineers, 2026 is going to be a hell of a year to watch.
There's one more little thing in the booth that I really want to tell you about this year, which is our super user Rudiger, who is our big friend here in Frankfurt, said, I will help you, I'll drive your truck, I'll deliver all your stuff on one condition, which is that you support Kinderzukunft, which means children's future. It's a German charity that helps children all over the world. So if you want to donate, please go to kinderzukunft.de, donate a couple bucks. We're collecting money here at the show, but you at home can help a lot. Thank you very much.
You are watching a master at work.